Ladies and gentlemen, we know that education is the key to unlocking the world, is a passport to freedom, and it leads us to success. But unfortunately, there's still so many kids who didn't get a proper education, who didn't get a knowledge, because their parents cannot fulfill their needs, because they are in unprivileged kids. So this is why we support this motion, saying that this House believes that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. Before we jump into my argument, let me introduce myself. My name is Istri Sukma Prasanthi as the first speaker of government team. So, let me define this motion today. So the scholarship in this motion that we mean is financial support for students based on their economy. And financial necessity in here, the kids who have an under 2 million money per month from their parents. So we're going to talk just in Indonesia, and the students from elementary until senior high school students, and the scholarship is financial aid. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that out there's so many kids who cannot afford to go to school, who cannot get education and knowledge. Because of that, they choose to get a job. They work so that they can fulfill their needs, such as drink, food, and their life. And because their parents also cannot fulfill their needs. So that's why they work. And that's make they cannot get a decent education, their rights to play, to get an education, and so on, become obstructed. Another thing that there's still so many kids in Indonesia who get a financial aid or scholarships, even though their needs already enough. So that's make the kids who underprivileged didn't get the scholarships, that is financial aid. So that is why we support this motion, saying that this House believes that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. So, welcome to my first argument, saying that the right of the kids to get education. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that all kids must receive an equal treatment without any discrimination, regardless of their background, religion, or even gender of the child. That means all children have a right to receive education, even though they are underprivileged kids, they lack of money, and so on. They have a right to receive subjects according to their level of intelligence, age, physical ability, and so on. But the fact is, in Indonesia, there's still so many kids who didn't get this. They got discrimination against their underprivileged kids. They are poor so that they didn't get a proper education. For example, in Bali or in Papua, education is a major problem in there. Even street is not there. There are still so many people who don't even care about how important education is for children, for kids. And there are still many kids who experience in economic difficulties, and the parents are unable to send their child to go to school. This is just really concerned because all child, not in just Indonesia, but in around the world, have a right to get a proper education, have a right to get knowledge, have a right to go to school. So this is why government have or should do a bold action. And that is to give an underprivileged kids a scholarship that is financial aid, so that the kids who underprivileged can go to school, can get a proper education. So government is a big role in these cases. Now, for my second argument is the psychology effect on the underprivileged kids. So, ladies and gentlemen, when kids didn't get a proper education because of their underprivileged, some of the kids feel like they are ashamed. They feel like they are loose compared to other kids. They feel like they live behind. They feel like they're sad, angry, disappointment, fear, and frustration. Because of this feel, that makes that they will get a confusion about their own future, especially with their friends who have already taken a proper education. They will confuse because they didn't get a proper education, because they are in underprivileged. And some of the kids who didn't get a proper education, who underprivileged, sometimes will get a bullying over that. The kids who got a proper education will bully the kids who didn't get a proper education. So this is why government should do a bold impact, and this is why government is a big role in these cases. Now for my third argument, that's saying the better future generation. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is still happening, especially in Indonesia, underprivileged kids didn't get a proper education, the better future of generation will actually slowly decrease, because we know that kids is our future generation who can change the world much better, who can change the Indonesia much better. And government have a bold action, because we know that the citizen, all people in Indonesia don't want this happening, right? Because if this is still happening, education in Indonesia is going to drop and it's going to decrease slowly. So this is why, as I said previously, again, government should do a bold action, and that is the underprivileged students or kids should or must get a scholarship, and that is a financial aid, so that the better future of youth generation in Indonesia will increase slowly. So that is why we support this motion, saying that this House believes that scholarships should only be granted on the basis of financial necessity. Because first is the right of kids to get education, because we know that all kids have right to get a proper education, to go to school, to get a knowledge. Second is the psychology effect on the underprivileged kids, because we know that if the kids, there's still so many kids who didn't get an proper education, got a same, they feel like they're loose compared to other kids, and they feel like they leave behind. And the last but not least, the better future generation, because if all kids got a right to get a proper education, the better future of the youth generation in Indonesia will slowly increase because of this, because we know that education is the key to unlocking the world, it's the passport to freedom, and it's lead us to success. So that's all for me. We're back to propose.